Welcome, I'm Simon Calder, the host of Back to the City Minneapolis Music Conversation, and this is the Back to the City Sessions Season 1. Every week, with the Minnehaha Recording Company, we'll be recording a live set of 3 songs from an exciting Twin Cities act, and then I'll be talking with them in the duplex about those songs and about what they have on the horizon. In Season 1, we'll have Larry Wish and his guys, Ghost Mouth, Products, Neon Black, LPF, Finesse, Battle Rat, The Stress of Her Regard, Humbird, and Charlie Parr. And that will take us through to the new year. Our guests for today's inaugural episode are Larry Wish, aka Adam Werven, and his guys, Sam, Nate, and Kate. Here they are, performing live at the Minnehaha Recording Company. This is Larry Wish and his guys performing The Designer. For the first time, welcome back to the duplex, which is a special meaning on this one instance. What's special about this room, Adam?
This used to be the studio that I mixed and recorded a whole bunch of Larry Wish stuff when I lived here.
So the song that we were just listening to, or that you were just performing, is called The Designer.
Yes.
Did you compose The Designer here, or was that at the Organ House?
That was at Organ House, yeah, that was 2011.
So that was on a record called Larry Wish.
Yes.
Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Exactly, yeah. Although, like, who cares, who knows?
Next to you is, of course, Sam Kramer, who was the first of the guys. First guy to join.
I was a guy.
And of course we have the full band in the duplex. We'll be talking with the other 2 members, those being Kate and Nate.
Yes.
Next year, you're going to re-release 3 records.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, 3 older ones that never really got proper attention by me when I was releasing so much other stuff.
You didn't get proper attention.
Yeah, I made like...
So how could anyone else?
Yeah, exactly. I made like 20 copies of each. And they went quickly and probably got thrown in trash bins and.
Yeah. One of them is called Humanoid, 3 humanoids.
Humanoid, 4 humanoids. Yes.
Okay, and so that's one. Kiosk.
Kiosk, yep.
And what's the third?
The third is The Mouth is the Most Promising, which is the second Larry Wish and His Guys full band album.
Right, okay.
Yes.
And Humanoid, Four Humanoids was, in retrospect, the first Larry Wish record, you feel?
Yes, even though I recorded it under the name Mango Sleeves, that's
Okay.
one that I consider to be of the style of Larry Wish.
Excellent.
Kind of
Okay.
when I came into my own.
So here we are at the beginning of the Larry Wish story.
Yes.
Little do you know it, but you are becoming Larry Wish. What is it like to become Larry Wish? What are the features of said record, All Humanoids,
Yeah.
that made it Larry Wish?
Well, this one combined a lot of kind of the soundscapey and noise elements that I'd been kind of playing around with building up to that record, and is kind of the first one that I feel confident in melody and harmony. And that features, I would say, prettier singing, but that could be argued.
Prettier,
Yeah, considering.
prettier than the
Previous,
noise
yeah.
that you had previously.
Yes, yeah, than before. Prettier than 2007.
So that's the genesis of Larry Wish. Now, what was the genesis of Larry Wish and His Guys?
I just started like performing with you live at some point.
I think
We were
so.
doing solo stuff.
Yeah, you would kind of mess with me sometimes.
I was like the hype guy, kind of.
Yeah, you would have
But
a
I would
microphone.
also like take
Yeah.
the mic away from you or like go between your legs and just kind of mess you up.
Yes, yeah,
Try to
exactly.
make you laugh or
It was like a comedic duo kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
When did you start playing bass?
I don't know, probably when we just all got together.
Yeah.
Decided to do it as a full group.
So there was Kate by the time that you
think so,
were
yeah.
playing the bass.
I think that was like November or December 2010. So I think our first show was around that time at the Kitty Cat Club, so it would have had to be like the 2 months leading up to then.
Yeah.
Is probably when we all decided like, let's start practicing and trying to flesh out these songs.
So you've been involved in so many different musical projects. How did the idea of having like a rock band that would play some of the old material come about? Were you the designer of Larry Wish and His Guys?
Probably, and then had outside input and consultation.
From the hype guy.
Yeah, from the hype guy. I'd always wanted to have these songs performed by a group since
Yeah.
like they were all conceived.
The Musical Insect, Digital Insect version, how different do you think it is from the original solo Larry Wish version?
I think it's just 100 times better. It sounds so much better fleshed out by different people
Yeah.
working together than me making like cold cookie cutter versions of the parts. It feels better when people can explore them.
It's more of like a
Yeah.
living organism.
Yeah,
because
yeah, totally.
The insect is musical, not digital.
At that,
I like that.
stage in time, yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked, were you the designer, is because you are the designer in the designer. You shared with me some ideas about the songs ahead of the interview, and regarding this one, you said that the song is a reflection on your creative process. That it also touches on balancing a selfish attitude with needing acceptance and social interaction.
Yes.
What led you to explore those issues in the designer originally?
That is hard to say. Just reaching back, it's kind of just where I was at
Yeah.
the time. Like a lot of those songs from that time period are so like, I'm just focusing so much on myself because
Yeah.
my world was like just so teeny tiny.
There's a little room in Organ House
So you
Yes, yeah, just like sitting in my bedroom writing songs all day long.
that you thought it was haunted too.
Yeah, I thought I had demonic oppression at the time, which is it's a whole nother
Boppy.
ball game. Yeah,
Well, sorry,
Boppy,
Boppy
exactly.
Boppy was there.
You know
okay to
about
bring it up.
Boppy, okay?
Boppy
I won't
was a
shut up
plant.
about Boppy.
I know about Boppy because Boppy makes a cameo on your most recent full band release in
Oh,
the
really?
lyric.
It must be someone.
Oh.
Remember the end of that one?
Boppy is
Yeah.
turning the brain into an ampersand.
So this song was kind of half serious and half of a joke to
Yeah.
me because at the time it was written, I had a plant in my room called Boppy
Yeah.
that I assigned all these negative feelings to
Yeah.
because I half thought that I was experiencing demonic oppression
Yes.
from some sort of outside negative forces, but then also knew that, hey, that's probably just me
Yeah.
projecting all this negativity on myself. So the content of that song is kind of me saying, I have demonic oppression, but I know that that's probably not real. It's probably just me piling negativity on myself.
I was across the hall the whole time. I just thought you were joking.
Yeah, that's right.
What was your relationship with Boppy like?
I just thought it was a made-up character, but also the plants. So I would say hi to Boppy when I came into the room.
Yeah.
And that room
As you do.
the air was kind of thick in there, so.
It was. I didn't open the windows ever.
Maybe that's why.
I thought bees
So,
were going to
yeah.
come in.
Yeah.
So you'd had this long period at the Organ House where you wrote maybe 17 albums.
Yes.
You'd previously been at Augsburg,
Mhm.
and then in the winter of 2014, you went to MCTC.
Yeah, starting in the late summer.
Yeah.
So starting with the fall semester, went back to school.
Yeah,
Mhm.
to focus on sound engineering and graphic design.
Yeah, first sound engineering, and then maybe like 2016 is when I kind of took a 180 and started with the graphic design program there.
Mm.
So I was finishing up with the sound arts program where Sam went through that as well, and that's where we recorded 3 of the songs
Okay.
that will be released on Musical Insect, Digital Insect, which was
yeah.
my final project for
Oh,
that
wow.
program.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're able to record like a half hour of music.
Yeah.
And we did another project of ours there for Sam's
my
final
final
project.
project.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Which project was that?
Abchad Nakors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Which is another band that the two of you are in with Tim,
Yes.
Yep.
Tim Hudson.
Mhm.
It's the original guitar player.
Yeah,
With lyrics.
for the first
Yes.
2 records.
And he's probably downstairs right now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which is where you practice
Yeah.
for said other band.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. When you were talking with me before about the period of going to MCTC, you spoke about that as a period of great personal development and clarity,
Yeah.
during which you burped out sound truck music
Yeah, that's right.
on Bandcamp.
Mhm.
That's how it describes
That's the
sound truck
phrasing,
music,
yeah.
as having been burped out
Mhm.
in that period of the development.
That's how it sounds also.
It kind of does. Yeah.
Like a burp.
Yeah, kind of, or like a hiccup.
I find it interesting that that metaphor was used there, because discussing the final Larry Wish and His Guys record that had Tim from downstairs
Mhm.
and Aaron Bam, you described that, Adam, as a very diuretic way to create. And focusing on the designer, we're thinking about the creative process. That's what
Mhm.
this song, The Designer, is about. What about the creative process of Larry Wish and His Guys back at that stage was diuretic? How does that relate to the idea of burping out music, and what's happening with the current music?
I don't think we worked together as well, or like didn't
Yeah. I agree.
didn't like talk about the music that much.
No.
We just kind of like
It just happened.
yeah, we would just start playing it,
And it
or,
would be
like,
fine.
Learning,
Yeah.
learning parts on our own time, and then
Yeah.
going to practice. And
Yeah.
oh, now this is the song.
What's changed?
Well, I definitely didn't know how to be a band leader back then whatsoever.
There was not much direction.
There was no direction.
Yeah.
Now there's a little more direction, but there can always be more. I'm sure anyone involved can attest to that.
Are you claiming that there wasn't as much leadership as there could be? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there wasn't as much because I didn't know how to get that across, to get my thoughts and the direction across, and would just kind of let myself get very frustrated.
Yeah.
And not communicate that.
Because in the song, The Designer, in the lyrics, it seems like there's some concern about being the sole architect
Yes.
and the lonely, like, controlling architect.
Control issues, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So,
The
so
designer throws a fit.
yeah, exactly. In that line right there. Yeah.
that's at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How does this song, The Designer, fit in relation to the shifting of the creative processes of you as Larry Wish and of Larry Wish and His Guys?
It could be kind of the realization
Yeah.
of saying like, okay, well, things were this way and they are this way right now. Maybe they need to be different
Yeah.
moving forward.
It's really interesting now that that's one of the solo songs that is getting the And His Guys treatment,
Mm-hmm.
because there's lyrics like, it's his place to be all of his family at once. For me, I thought of like the band as like a family.
Yeah.
And but now it's like the family's place to be all of the Larrys at once.
Nice. Yeah, or maybe even just treated more like a family instead of like a one person kind of saying like, this is how this is, and this is this, and this is this.
Yeah.
Maybe having more of a conversation with the music.
So thinking about it in those terms, like how does it feel to have been playing it at the Minnehaha Recording Company the other day, which is also, of course, where you are an engineer.
Yes.
That was another part of the period of clarity where you're happily burping is working there.
Yes, yeah, and of course just like trying new things, putting myself out there and trying to have a better social life, trying to make more connections, make more things happen. A lot of that there, which led me to interning at MRC.
You're going to be involved in engineering the other episode.
Yeah, which I'm so excited for. Yeah. Every Wednesday, forever.
Yeah. So episodes will come out on a Tuesday. The episode that we track on a Wednesday will be followed by something like this, and it will be out on a Tuesday. Before we return to the Minnehaha Recording Company to witness Lycan Avenue, let's focus on the abruptness of the end of the design. It kind of has a slightly more abrupt end, I think, than the original did.
Yeah.
So the final lyric, the designer has a bit. His reality never designs to be used at all. Then we enter what seems to be a new section, but then suddenly it's kind of
it stops.
Abruptly stops.
Yeah, it repeats the verse section, but just stops halfway through.
Yeah. Why? Why does it do that?
Oh, I think when I was writing that originally, I didn't know what else to do. And I kind of thought, well, of course a verse comes after this, but the song has to be done at some point, and it should be short, because so many of my songs are
6 or 7 minutes.
maybe too long.
The creative process can isolate the creator.
Sure.
But then here you are with your guys, and it's not diarrhea. Is it burping? Are we burping still? Is that what's happening?
I think so. I mean, it
Is
feels
this
like a happy baby.
We're sighing. You're just like,
yeah. I look forward to practicing whenever we get a chance to. I feel like we all end up just laughing and maybe crying too, and just being like feeling super weird together.
Is that ever the case that someone arrives early to practice and hides, and then surprises the rest of you?
I feel like you've maybe talked about doing that,
or maybe tried and failed,
and didn't do a good job.
Why do I ask this question?
Ooh, maybe we're going to find out.
The song Lycan Avenue. The story of the song, as designed by 2011 Larry, is a husband is hiding in his home on Lycan Avenue.
Yes.
Yes. And then eventually, when the wife returns, he reveals his hiding place.
Yeah, right away.
Right, immediately.
Yeah. There's no hide and seek. It's just.
It's not really startling either, right? It's just
right.
Kind of like I was here.
This is what I was doing all day.
Yeah.
And maybe she doesn't care. She's like, okay, good for you.
Like, why don't you like do something else with your life?
Do something with your life. Yeah. That's good. Okay. There should be a play, maybe. I like that.
Where it's all just him behind the couch leading up to coming home.
It's a 5-minute play. It's a one act.
In 5 minutes, I'll be seeing what Nate and Kate have to say about said song. First, what does 2017 Larry have to say to 2011 Larry?
Well, I just want to know what they were thinking with the lyrics. They don't make any sense.
But you do
I think I knew it at the time.
You know that that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Well, you start laughing in the recording.
Yeah, on the third verse I started almost cracking up.
So you have listened to the original Larry Wish?
The Lycan Avenue, but not the designer.
Yes.
For no real reason.
One last, and this is really special because this is even beyond the next record.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tracking it at MRC just the other day, that was the first time I had played the song and sang it the whole way through.
Wow.
With the guys.
Yeah.
So that was a fun trial.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where that song ends up. I think it's got some promise still, even though it's kind of an older thought.
Yeah. Well, it's a fresh new thought in this manifestation.
Yes.
And for the first time, let's take a look and a listen to it. Let's return to the Minnehaha Recording Company.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Duplex. That was Like an Avenue by Larry Wish and his guys, and now I'm joined by the other two guys, that being Kate Farstad and Nate Johnson. Kate, you were also Itch Princess.
Yep.
Which includes some or all of the other guys.
Yeah, they all helped record some improvisational stuff on the record, and then Sam and Larry helped with the tracking.
And Nate, you're in Scathe.
Yes.
Yes. Scathe, which began with two basses. Mm-hmm. You were one of the bassers, and it was hardcore. So can you tell us a bit more about Scathe, what Scathe has become?
Scathe has always been a hard band to kind of like pin
categorize
down like what it is.
Yeah.
It's just, we've always kind of been like, yeah, I think we all came from playing in like in a punk rock land, and all of our bands were kind of like extreme music kind of bands, or from a more experimental improv nature, and so it was just a big mashup of all those kinds of interests, and it, you know, it had always been like a loud, heavy band. We'd always been like a very loud band, but we'd always kind of recorded our own records and had a lot of space to kind of to make things a bit different than that you would see at a show or something.
Well, speaking of shows, I understand that the Medusa, which was a music venue on the West Bank, played an important role for, I think, both of you in terms of becoming Larry Wish and his guys.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? And so, how did each of you get involved?
I mean, Sam and I have been in bands together for a long time. So Larry asked me to be in it, and I was like, sure. And that was 5 years ago.
Did you play with Rat Poison?
I did. I also was in a band for a little bit called Rat Poison with Jonathan Kennedy. He has a radio show on KFAI.
Oh, yeah.
He's a local musician. He's great. He's in a ton of bands.
So we're back in time. You're playing at the Medusa with Rat Poison. That's the kind of era that we're in. How did you end up?
Actually, there was a show it was Cause, which is now Sauce, which is now something else.
Yeah, the one at Lake and Lindale.
Yeah. Then Sam and Larry were playing together, and there was an electronic kit there, and I was inebriated, and I went on the stage, and I played.
So Sam was the hype man. What were you?
I was the drummer all of a sudden.
The impromptu drummer.
Yeah, and then I just stayed in it. Because they got me.
And were you at that show?
No.
No, but you were a fan of Larry Wish and his guys.
I tried to catch as many shows as I could, and I like whether or not it was with the guys or just with Larry on his own.
Yeah.
Which a lot of, the first time that I saw or was aware that Larry Wish was a thing was just Adam on his own, and it was very funny,
Yeah.
And
How was it funny?
I guess because it's like
used to have worse haircuts.
Yeah.
So the hair was one of the
just be like
components.
It's like if you like going and watching karaoke or something, it was kind of like that, but just strange music that he made on his own.
Right.
He used to have a moustache as well. There's a Sam Kramer credited album cover, which is like the middle of Adam's face, where there's a moustache.
There's a lot of content that exists.
I guess it was funny at those times because he was just alone, and there'd be maybe like 5 people watching him, and I think even at times.
Such a good performer.
Yeah.
Well, people would even be disrespectful sometimes, and I don't think he really even cared, or like.
Maybe deep in his soul.
Maybe he did, but he was really good at just kind of
sad
like
down there,
being really goofy and stuff, and it was. I never walked away from it, I guess.
These days, one of the things that Adam is doing solo is a mime show. And here is some video footage that I just took on my iPhone 7. Can you provide a bit of background about what we can witness just here?
Maybe he got tired of writing a bunch of songs, so then he decided to experiment with like the method in which the sounds were being displayed or something.
Yeah.
Pretending that a 1/4-inch cable is making a sound, or like a flying delay pedal or whatever.
Yes.
He went across the whole country doing it like every night for a couple months.
And
so
you
that's
joined.
dedication.
And you joined him in Georgia.
I just met up with him, and played a couple shows because we have a friend out there and who's putting out my solo tape and who has put out a tape of Larry's in the past.
Something I love about this particular mime show is how endearing the character is. We know how a keyboard works, but this character is discovering things about a keyboard that the people who know how a keyboard works don't know.
I guess I don't really see it as a character because I'm just such good friends with
Yeah.
Larry that it's just all the same. He just has an ability to bring like a level of seriousness to what he's doing that I think freaks people out. Like, yeah, it's funny, and I've experienced people being conflicted with whether or not to laugh or
Yeah.
to like respond with joy
There's a sense of
or just confusion or something.
So there's a sense of seriousness and there's a sense of playfulness, and they're both there. How do the two come together in general, and then specifically in this song, Like an Avenue? I feel like there's a heightened sense of playfulness, perhaps fitting with the kind of hide and seek idea.
I think that it's lyrically playful. Parts of it musically are playful, but I've always thought that song as being a more serious song.
Yeah.
Okay, what
Maybe
makes
the part that isn't in 4/4 time
Or it feels serious.
and Sam is doing crazy things with his bass toward the end.
Yeah.
There's like yeah, it's serious, but there's moments where it sort of falls apart, and I think we like to dance with that dynamic.
dancing between the playfulness and the seriousness? Can we focus on the seriousness a little bit more? What is serious about the song?
It's kind of like a almost melancholy sounding song.
I'm thinking of it in my
The
head.
melodies, I always thought are kind of melancholy
Yeah.
sounding almost.
It's like
Well, I guess
I
like
don't know.
there's also songs too that are just like they're nothing but like goofy and like upbeat and like kind of funny, you know. Queen of England.
Yeah.
that
you
one's
know,
good.
Is one
yeah,
that's
that's
like
good.
I think it's such a goofy sounding song. Both our version and like the solo version are just like
So when I was talking with Adam about that song last time, I was quizzing him about the Queen of England character. So we have this this character which is in a position of power, Adam was saying, but kind of struggling with this sense of entitlement, uncomfortable with being in the position of power. So that's why they have to learn to swim, because that's the lyric, isn't it, in the song? And in the end, they kind of jump in the ocean and they escape. They escape from that awkwardness. So it's interesting that, so that is a song that you think does sound, is more consistently playful, sounds less serious?
yeah.
Yeah?
Certainly. I wanted to kind of make it silly on my own terms of like, you know, effects for guitar to use or something.
Yeah.
I think in that song, like I used like a Digitech whammy pedal, which is like one of the silliest pedals anyone hears.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
And everyone knows that sound, and it's just like, it's a goofy Rage Against the Machine sound or something.
What decisions did you make for Like an Avenue then? Especially thinking...
To be more auxiliary, I
Okay.
think. You know, in that song, I try to like not be any kind of, I don't know, I try to not make some sort of like acid rock sounding racket. I try not to do any kind of solos. I try not to like, I don't know, be so high gained and volume is really rolled down and
Yeah.
I don't know, Like an Avenue or something. That too, we only just recorded it for the first time the other day, and
Yes, what we just witnessed is
Yeah.
the
So
only
I
Larry
hope that
Wish and
we
his guys'
record it again.
performance. Even in practice. I think there was one practice where Adam sang.
Yeah.
To the-
yeah,
to the-
yeah.
the
band
practice
performance.
before the
Yeah.
performance, I think.
So
That
this
song
is-
very much like
Brand new.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like being played around with. And
Yeah.
will probably change if it's recorded again. It'll probably be different or more refined in some way.
Talking with me before about the transition from Larry Wish to Larry Wish and his guys with each song, Adam used the example of Mary has a
But wheelchair.
wheelchair. Mary has
lot
a
of markers.
Lots of markers.
Mary has a wheelchair and a lot of markers. And he said that for that one, for example, on the original, there was some very minimal percussion initially on his version, which transforms into expanded and gorgeous tapestries of percussion. is what Adam was saying about Kate's drum playing last time. Do you have any thoughts about your contributions to that particular song?
That was a song that I felt really comfortable playing at a time, because that was already, 3 years ago or something. which, you know, I had probably been in a year into the band and like was really still trying to figure out where I fit in or like how to feel comfortable playing or something, you know, because it was, you know, the slightest bit kind of something to figure out, to pick up where some other person left off who played guitar, and this band has been a band for
And you play
however
very
many
different.
years.
than
And
Tim.
Yeah.
well, I feel like I play very different from you guys even,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and like,
It's true.
or I don't know, like it's, I tried to like put my own stamp on things without kind of making it be, like turning Larry Wish and his guys into a full out, like, really loud kind of rock band or something.
No, you're good with dynamics.
Yeah, I try to be, but Mary was a song that I always felt really nice. It felt nice to play it. It felt nice to record it because it isn't so. It's easy, you know. I guess it's like, and there's a lot of space to kind of be able to comfortably trot along and get more comfortable with it. I think it was probably one of the first songs that we like learned with me in the band, just because it was like, you know, you can figure this out. It's the easiest one or something. So.
Okay, so the new 4-piece, Larry Wish and his guys, is treading along, performing Mary in a practice. Like, how does it come to end in the jam? Was that the decision of the designer, or was that collectively designed, determined?
It seemed pretty collective.
Yeah?
You know, it just seemed like this is the end is a fun part to jam, and it's also easy to make it kind of be you know, different each time. I have some sort of demo recording of us playing that song, and the end is like it turns into a full-out reggae jam. And it's cool. It sounds amazing.
It probably sounds really cool.
You know, and it's funny too.
It was an accident.
It has that funniness in it.
Yeah.
That playfulness and that non-seriousness.
We keep on coming back to this focus on meaningful play and meaningful fun, but then there being a seriousness too. And so when I was talking about this song with Adam, we talked about the actual person, Mary. There is a person, Mary. Do you know of this person?
I believe it was someone that Larry saw on the bus when he was going to work
Yeah.
often.
Yeah. Mary has a house that is painted like an abstract expressionist painting, all kinds of different colours.
Yeah, she's a great artist. I have a table that she painted in my house.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Her house
Wow.
has been that way
How did
forever.
you acquire Mary's table?
She had a table. She was a garage sale, and one of her tables, someone was selling it, and I bought it.
And she actually does have a bunch of markers, and many of them are the same colour.
Or slightly different. Yeah, she draws all the time, and
Yeah.
she's a great artist.
So-
I didn't know. I didn't just put that together. I didn't realize it was that Mary.
That it was that Mary, yeah. I think it's ethically really significant what's happening in the song as Adam kind of makes this effort to convey something about Mary,
Sure. Yeah.
whilst also being cognizant of his own lens.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Larry just writes songs about what he sees in the world or what he thinks of in his head. So it's just sort of like a kind of a cognizant break from the more imaginative realm of Larry Wish, and maybe just sort of talking about more observational or something.
Yeah,
And it is kind of like a very direct and straightforward song. It's not like it doesn't change drastically.
that's really interesting that you say that though, that it is more straightforward. There is this attempt to see and do justice to like an actual human being, whereas, I think, what's the second track on the record called? The one, there's like an alien character.
Indrid Cold?
Which is like a fantastical character.
Yeah, he's got a couple noses or
Yeah.
that's all we know.
So what do we know about The Man Who Even Has a Gun? Which is going to be the song with which we close the episode.
Next to Nothing?
It was the name of an album that does not have that song
That
on
was
it.
our first,
That was
yeah.
the first Larry Wish and his guys record.
Okay, and that the song did not exist even as a solo Larry Wish song at the time of the creation of that album.
I'd
didn't know
wondered
that.
about that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wondered if it was a song before an album or either way.
I was wondering too, but Larry and Sam confirmed pre-interview that it did not exist as a song.
Wow.
Now it does. And this is going to be on the next record, yeah? On Musical Insect, Digital Insect.
Write that down.
Yeah, which is likely to be out which will be out next year.
Hope. I mean, yeah. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. What kind of decisions did you make when you came to work on this song?
This song, like an Avenue 2, was kind of the first of this new batch of songs that Larry had kind of brought into the table and wanted to learn, and like I, you know, at first like had a really hard time hearing guitars in it. It sounded like the kind of songs where we should all be like Kraftwerk style with, you know, our own synths or something.
Did you say that to Adam?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that at one point. But I
Did,
don't know,
did Adam
like,
agree? Or he was like, no, there needs to be guitar?
He probably loved it, the idea.
He's pro.
He's pro everything, you know.
Not
Yeah.
everything.
Not everything, sorry.
Not everything.
Of course not. No, I don't know. Like I think that it sounds like anyways, once again, should be more minimal or like more.
Yeah, my drum part is like not. It's like hard to
yours
play
is-
how simple it is.
Yeah.
I don't like it for that reason.
But
Then the end is different. It's like really like rock out.
Yeah.
How does your drum part relate to the original drum part?
I think the beginning
It's just
is exactly how
It's
we
the same.
had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just very simple. But then the end, I don't remember if that's how the drum part was in his version or if he let me kind of.
I feel like in
Go-
his
go a little
version,
insane.
there's still just like a kick drum, and like everything is out.
Oh,
Still very
okay.
mellow.
I made the ending is then different
It's
because of
very
my
different.
sensibilities.
Yeah, you're responsible for the rocking out then?
Apparently.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
I feel
It's hard, or like Kate's a hard-hitting drummer. Like, and well, it makes our band be very loud sometimes,
True.
and so
Sometimes I
that,
don't know how to rein it in, and
that
everyone's
was-
like, "Can you be quiet?"
yeah, that's kind of been something that we've discussed in recent months of just kind of exploring different dynamics, or like I don't know, like I think all of us kind of turn up out of like a nervousness, or almost
Yeah.
maybe, you know, and so.
so you play louder out of a nervousness?
Well, I play loud because I can't hear anything. So, from playing loud.
Okay. From play. So chicken and the egg.
Turning back now,
Thing, yeah.
you know. I don't know, and like, I don't know why Kate will hit the drums so hard sometimes.
I just feel mad that day or something.
Yeah, and everyone follows. But like the new songs, Adam, I know that, are we calling him Adam or Larry?
I call him Larry
We
all
keep
the
on
time.
shifting. But it's okay, he's
But you
both.
can call him.
He is Adam Lawrence Worvin, so
That's what
he
I've
is
heard.
he is Larry.
So Larry Wervin.
Yeah.
Wervy, Swervin.
Yeah, Swervin. I know that he's talked about wanting to kind of go in a different kind of direction, and like a more calming, and perhaps that means minimal, but I can't really say. And again, it's just all
In general, or just for a particular?
Just like as a next.
is the next.
Is that for How More Do You Need? Are you aware of How More
I've
Do
heard
You
that
Need?
title spoken
Yeah.
near me before,
I don't.
but I'm not sure.
Yeah, How More Do You Need? He was talking about the process for that. He would do like 5 to 8 minute long, slow tempo recordings.
Oh yeah.
And then
that's good. Yeah.
like pitch shift it,
Yeah.
speed it up. And
No, not like that. That's not where the band direction is going.
Well,
Okay.
that made it
Oh.
difficult to learn some of those songs the other day because it's.
so you have worked on some of those songs.
We're gonna try to learn
We
some of
tried,
them.
yeah. We jammed on one the other day, and it was difficult because of all the warping tape sounds. And,
Right.
you know, trying to figure out how to emulate such a thing is going to be sort of weird. But, you know, nobody can say, I guess, until we get in the basement.
We were talking before about Les Paul and about Beethoven. Apparently, would write things and then speed them up. Not on the
He was full of good ideas.
yeah, on his 4-track. Yeah. So but you are experimenting though with there might be Larry Wisher and his guys' versions of some of those.
And he wants to have some like horn arrangements and other things.
Yeah, he
on
was
those new songs. So
Talking
that would be
previously
cool.
about maybe cello, all kinds of possibilities. But in the meantime, we have The Man Who Even Has His Gun, existing as a song. That will be one of 5 songs. Yeah, is that right? On on the next record. I think that this version of The Man Who Even Has a Gun that you did the other day in the studio. There's a really interesting shift between verses and then the instrumental segments between them. You were saying that the guitar isn't very prominent, but I feel it becomes more prominent after. Yeah, when I was outside, and then there's this really interesting like sonic shift where the guitar and the bass are kind of working very nicely together, and it becomes it's not a solo, but it becomes kind of solo-like. Yeah.
Ascending and then quickly descending back into the calmness of before Kate
kind of rocks out and pulls it in that direction.
Where I rock out.
final part of, so.
Well, in 1 minute, we'll be closing the episode with your rendition of The Man Who Even Has a Gun. According to Adam, this is a song about feeling sad yet hopeful of the future. Does that sound right to you? And how do you guys feel about the future of Larry Wish and his guys?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the future in general. Not good about the future in general.
I don't know. I'm hopeful for it. Like I just want us to be more in action. I want us to hit the road. I want to play different towns. I want to spend more time with these guys and
I want to spend more time with you guys
only
too.
become more comfortable with each other and know how to communicate, and if anything sucks or is going great, to be able to express that to one another, and I just want to play. Larry Wish's music is it takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of just kind of getting comfortable with it and learning the language of it, that it seems to kind of just be.
And he doesn't know this, but we could at any time. Which is actually what he tells us. He tells us that all the time. He says, I just want you guys to know that I can just kick you out at any time. You can break it up. Yeah.
Yeah, he is very malevolent, isn't he?
No, he couldn't. I don't think he could find a better band. Actually,
Exactly.
for this particular thing.
But yeah, I think we could become a better band.
We could be better people. Yeah.
We could be better at playing together and stuff. And
We could switch.
we could. I don't know. I want to play pedal steel guitar.
Really?
Exclusively on the next record.
Is that true?
I want to.
He has a pedal steel. He's really good.
I'm not really good.
He said he's good.
Have you have you experimented with any practices playing pedal steel in any of the songs yet?
Not yet.
Okay, but
It's something I do at home.
Wow.
Or try to learn at home, I guess.
Yeah. So maybe all but of the songs on the next record, but Like an Avenue, which sounds pretty good with the guitar part, will have pedal
Could
steel.
have both. I want to be able to explore in our recordings too, and not, have such
we have
little
feelings
time.
too, and
In recordings, I guess it's just another thing that I'll go overboard with. So maybe it's a good thing that I don't get a chance to do 20 overdubs on a song or something. And
that we'd like to record as live as possible.
Yeah, but I would like to be able to experiment more. Those are
Let's find a way to make that happen.
That is going to happen, I'm sure.
Why not?
Yeah. So because of course you're all designing together, are we having any fun? Yes, we are having fun.
Now or in the band?
In the band, hopefully a little bit of fun there
We're
too.
having so much fun in this band, right?
I try as much fun as I can.
I see Nate trying.
Looks like you're having fun.
Yeah.
I think that we should watch you having fun. Watch and listen to the live in studio recording to close the inaugural episode of the Back to the City sessions. This is Larry Wish and his guys performing The Man Who Even Has a Gun at the Minnehaha Recording Company. I've been Simon Calder. This is Back to the City. Enjoy the performance. Thank you very much, guys,
Thank you,
for
Simon.
being with us.
Thank you.
Done anyway.
must have been some moments when, one half of the band was talking and the other half of the band was like, oh, I wish I could weigh in here. Were there any moments of that nature?
I liked hearing that you were aware of Mary and that
Oh, yeah.
and that you weren't aware that song was about that person.
No, because I've just grown up, I've always known that person in that house on Penn Avenue.
Yeah.
So I just didn't think that could be her.
That was really cool.
Many of your songs are focusing on a character who might be misunderstood or misrepresented.
Yeah,
and
misfits.
Yeah.
Bunch of misfits.
So Larry Wish has been categorized as like outsider pop. But at the same time, there's this fascinating skepticism about the idea of the outsider, because if there's an outside, like what's the inside?
Who are
Alleged.
these insiders?
Yeah.
I think that was the Truly Bald
That was,
one.
yeah.
With Jake Tobin, Kate and I's friend, was writing about that, saying how they didn't appreciate that kind of title or that framing or labeling of artists, or saying that they're outside.
They're weirdos.
Because
They say weird.
But like that's kind of how I feel about us. I feel like we're a bunch of misfits, and it's like the island of
Speak
misfit
for yourself,
toys.
buddy. Right back in.
That's very true.
just on the broadest level, why does Larry Wish and his guys sound like Larry Wish and his guys sounds like? And does it relate to these kind of broader issues, like what's it mean to be an outsider?
I feel like we're more exclusive than being cast aside by anyone. Like we just have all these really dumb inside jokes and like things that we find funny just because they're like annoying, or like we just keep doing them. And so
That's fair.
I've definitely like talked to people before at one point and been like, I play in Larry Wish and his guys, and they're like, that band sucks.
That band's like.
Did they elaborate?
That's fair, because no, I've had people come up to me and say like, and tell me that they've heard very polarizing things about me and about us. Like people saying, you're into Larry Wish? Yeah, I've gone through that phase. So something like that, or people just being like super not into our music, or people like really, really, really liking it.
I saw a picture of
Which I think is a good sign.
Of you doing a solo set at the Hexagon, I think it looked like from the picture, but you're like on the stage alone.
Yeah.
And nobody's watching. It looks like, but there's like one guy on front of the stage, and he's just like some regular guy from the bar, and he's like flicking you off. And,
that was an old partner.
Oh, it was. I always thought it was just some.
I don't want to put this person on blast, but it came from a place of love.
I always thought it was really funny because I thought it was like a dude just heckling you or something.
I want to see that. I'm gonna pretend that it was that from now on.
But you're reassured by the extreme reactions.
Yeah,
Is that fair to say?
I think that's good. That it's not sort of bland. That people aren't like, oh, Larry Wish and his guys, not memorable. We don't. Yeah, it's fine, I guess. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear people either like boo us or, throw flowers on the stage.
Yes. There you go. So now you know how to express your enthusiasm.
Please.
Next time you're at the Larry Wish show.
I need it.
Flowers or booze.
Either.
Well, people have thrown beer at you multiple times.
You almost got hurt from.
Well, I did get hurt.
You did get hurt. That's right.
Threw a bottle at me.
You got hurt too. We've had
someone.
Nate
I
didn't
went
get
up
hurt.
to bodyguard Adam when he was doing a Stone Temple Pilots cover at Medusa, and nobody liked it, and they were throwing stuff at him. And one person threw a ceramic mug, and it hit me in the head, and I had a huge welt.
Kate got hit by a bottle in the head, was it?
Yeah, playing a Larry Wish and his guys set. Someone whipped a glass bottle at me and it hit me.
Not okay.
It's a hard life being
I'm
a
sorry that you've made so many sacrifices.
We've never been paid for playing a show. We just do it for the giggles, right, Ninins?
The first couple of shows I ever played with you guys, Adam gave me like $20.
That's cool.
You go, kid.
I was really trying to impress Nate. This is going to be really worth it if you stick with it.
There we go, which is true for the episode too. If you made it all the way through to this secret bit at the end, you know.
That Larry pays us for all the shows he's never paid us for.
There we go, that's the moral of the story. Stick with it. It's going to be really good.
That's cool, dude.
Keep being in bands, everybody.
And I think usually it was because I drove like the equipment.
Okay, that was The Man Who Even Has a Gun. These are Larry Wish and his guys. thank you very much for coming in to this inaugural episode of Back to the City Sessions. Next week, we will have Ghost Mouse.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you for having us.
You're very welcome indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. Bye for now. See you next week, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye.
See you next Tuesday. In season 1, we'll have Larry Wish and his guys, Ghost Mouse, Products, Neon Black, LPF, Finesse, Battle Rat, The Stress of Her Regard, Humbird, and Charlie Parr. And that will take us through to the new year.
There was between us the songs greet us when we're alone, with nowhere else to go.
Yeah, that'd be a good sign off
Do the
maybe
sign
for the program.
Please?
Nate. Nate.
Nate.
G.E. Smith and the Saturday Night Live Band, featuring Larry Wish and his guys, without Nate, but with G.E. Smith and the Saturday Night Live Band.
Excellent.
That's
Can
it.
you come back every week?
The feature announcer for the show.
Yeah, there we go.
Are you listening up there? Are you listening to me now? I won't make a sound.